What up, you guys? Guess what? I just got this alternator rebuilt. Brushes, regulator, the whole nine. Because my alternator went out in my fucking car after just doing the transmission, whole engine rebuild, more bullshit. You see what we're looking at is the alternator, and you got the brake master, the fuel line, the power steering hose. So there's all kinds of stuff in the way. So it looks like I'm gonna have to go through the axle. And I got a freshly rebuilt Honda. So yeah, this car, every time I fix one thing, something else. So I figure I'll just record my process. I've never done it before, so we're gonna have to take the wheel off, take the axle nut off, remove the axle, and hopefully can figure it out as I go here. So there's the ground, I think, there, and then the plug's right behind that. The adjusting bolt is right there. So we should get to that stuff from the top, and then we'll pull the. So let's go. Alright guys, so I don't have an impact, so I'm just going to use a screwdriver, put it into, they have slots. So just going to put it there. This is a 32 mil Pittsburgh special. And there's a chink in there. So I'm going to pop that out, take this off, push the axle through, and see what else I got to do in there. Alright guys, so lower ball joint. You want to pull the lower cotter pin out. This is like a 19 mil, I think. So you want to loosen that. Don't take it all the way off, leave it there. And now you want to like hammer this just to get the ball joint loose. Or if you have one of those little splitters. Let's go hammer it. That's the idea. I'm gonna put the camera down. Alright guys, so I got that off of there. Alright guys, so got this out, swing it out of the way. So I not really have, since I've left this and the tie rod or whatever, what I'm hoping to do really is just, I'm gonna try to pull this part, this side of the axle out, and then just hang this thing, push it through and just hang it without unloosening shit. And maybe I can get some room in there and can just leave stuff hanging without having to set it so this is loose. Let's see if I can just get that thing out without having to do anything crazy with this. Just leave it here. All right, so check this out. I'm gonna get something to put this on, but here's the axle. Basically, right there, you just separate it from the intermediate shaft. So once you get that off, you know, I just took a rubber mallet and hit on right here, this outer part. And thankfully this axle goes in and out very smooth. So basically just gonna leave it hanging like that. And then alternator right here. So we should be able to squeeze it through here by just removing the inner part of the axle, the wheel nut, and the lower ball joint. So we haven't had to mess with the fork, upper controller, or ball joint with I can't even take the tie rod. So this thing is not tied up or leave, it's just loose. Alright, so now we've got to get to this bolt. That's your tensioner. And have to unplug it. All right, guys, so I took the bolt off here. Took the bolt here off this harness and also off the top of this bracket. So hopefully that should give us some wiggle room to get in here. This bolt's being a little bit of a bitch right now, but so to make some room. All right, guys, it looks like next is this, it's an 8mm on the top. I think that's your ground. And then we got your plug. So I'm gonna try to get this one off. This extension. All right, guys, so I've run into my first real problem. Whoever has messed with this alternator before, if you look at the top there, you see the plastic there? It's broken. So I can't get any resistance on the wire to get the top. There's a nut underneath there. I don't know how I'm gonna get this off. Alright guys, even though that was broken, I had enough slack in the actual cable there, so I felt comfortable. I just turned it until it got to the other side, so I've got it loose. Alright guys, we're gonna remove this finger there, this nut right there. I don't even know what size it is, but let's get it out of there. Alternator's on, 14mm, so you got room to get in there. I'm gonna loosen that up. All right, guys, I had to use a breaker bar. I was able to get in there, get that out. Now, what it is, pretty simple. Here's the nut, and this side is just a square, and it locks into the side, so you don't have to hold anything on that side. Just loosen it from there, and then poke this from the, just push it through. So there we go. So that bracket, I think that's step one. All right, guys, so next I'm just gonna reach in, push it forward, and that's gonna give me slack. This, hopefully you guys can see. The belt will come off now. Anyway, so that's your next step. You want to remove the belt. All right, guys, so I'm not taking out this upper bracket bolts. For some reason, I don't think I have to do that. So what I did was unloosen the fastener or the tensioner bolt. And then, so I have it out. The problem is it just can't drop out. So I'm gonna have to remove the bracket right here to give me some space to drop the fucking thing out. So I have the alternator just kind of sitting over there. Anyone can see that. All right, guys, here's the bracket. Doesn't have a whole lot of room in all these places, man. And just, you know, older car, you gotta go slow. Don't worry, you don't strip anything out and put yourself in a fucking major pickle. But for now, you guys can see in there, there's the alternator. So hopefully I've got the room to pull this bitch out now and just get it all back in there. All right, guys, here she is. All in all, hopefully I can get it back in, get things torqued to spec. I didn't strip anything, but like I say, I didn't even have to take the fork off, so the axle can just hang. This can just kind of rest. Don't have to take this top mounting bolt off. Don't worry about going through all that bullshit. It's a little weird pulling it through the bottom. You have to move the bracket. But yeah, let's just try to get this other one back in. Oh yeah. All right, guys, we're moving right along here where I'm at. So this went back in. I got this in, was able to torque everything, 33 foot-pounds. This slid right in, so I had it not snugged up, but just there, so I could tighten anytime. I got the belt back on, so I'm gonna put the tensioner back on the top and maybe get it snug, and we'll tighten it down. Let's see how we go. Got 6 foot-pounds on the connector here. I've got the belt, hopefully tighten that up. I think, I don't even know what's the foot-pound on it. Adjusting that. All right, guys, got the new wheel nut torqued, 100 and what is it, 34 foot-pounds. Ball joints back in. Was able to get a wrench on just about everything. The plug did not want to plug in very easily. The green plug, I don't know why. It was fucking took me forever to get that thing to snug in. Hopefully I got the belt tension tight enough. That's the only thing I don't know, if I've got the tension tight enough. But I'm gonna plug this motherfucker in, see if it'll start. All right, guys, I got the car back together, fired it up now. It's just idling okay. I got the scanner hooked up, so let's... So at idle, the battery's at 13.9714. We'll check it again when we're driving. So the belt did squeal when I started it up, so I don't know if I have the belt hella tight. Let's see if it'll dry. So I've been driving it a while. Battery's hanging out around 13.78, so 13.88. I haven't seen it hit 14 in a minute. But